Hi there and welcome back. In this video we're looking at CSV files. Sometimes we need to store more complex data in a file, rather than just single strings as we've been seeing. And a CSV file is just the way to do that, when you need to store slightly more complex data, but maybe not necessarily too complex. Instead of storing one thing per line, now we can store, well, we're still storing one thing per line really, but now the thing has commas in there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to split the line by the comma, and that's going to give us multiple pieces of data. So here, for example, we've got a name, an age, a university, and a degree that somebody's doing. This gives us information about a single person. The first row tells us the headings of the data, so that when we look at the file, we can tell what it means. The first column is the name, second one's the age, third one's the university, last one's the degree. So what we're going to do is we're going to write a program that is going to read these three lines, not the first one, and it's going to print out the information about this person in a slightly nicer way, just to experiment with reading CSV files. Let's go over to csv_read.py, a file that I've just created, and we are going to begin. The first thing to do is, of course, read the lines in the file. I'm sure you can do that. Hopefully you got that. What to do is, of course, open the csv_data.txt in read mode, and then we can look at the lines, and that's going to be file.readlines. And then we can close the file. Now we've got all the lines, that's from line number 1, 2, 3, and 4, including the new line characters at the end and all the characters in the line. Now what we want to do is ignore the first line. So what to do is say lines equals lines 1 colon. If you remember from when we looked at lists, this is called slicing a list, and it lets us essentially get only a part of the list. We're going to change this lines variable to now be what the lines variable was, but only from index 1 onwards. So we're going to get index 1 onwards. That's 1, 2, and 3 here. We're going to ignore the first line. Of course, we also want to remove any white space, like new line characters, so we can put this inside a list comprehension that says line.strip for line in that, in the slice. The reason why I do this here instead of up here is so that we are only stripping the lines that we want to strip, and not the first line, since we don't actually care about it. Now that we've got these lines, we can iterate over them. And we can say that the person that we're going to analyze is the entire line, but we want to get the data in it, which is separated by commas. So what do we do? Well, as we did in the last video, we're going to split the line by the comma. So we're going to say person data equals line.split on the comma. That's going to give us a list of various elements. The first one's going to be Rolf, second one's going to be 25, third one's going to be MIT, and the fourth one's going to be computer science. So the list is going to have 4 elements. In order to make it easier for us to work with this program, I'm going to create a variable per element. It's not something you have to do, but I like doing that. So name equals person data 0, age equals person data 1, university equals person data 2, and the degree is person data 3. Now, of course, you'll get an index error if your file does not have the right format, but I mean, that's a problem in any case. Whenever you're interacting with files or with databases or anything else, your program's going to be reasonably coupled to the data that you're interacting with. So, that's a problem that we have to deal with if it happens. Now that we've got the name, age, university, and degree, we can print out a line saying, this person is 25 years old and is studying computer science at MIT. So we can print something like name is age, studying degree at university. Now, the problem when we do this, let's run the file, is that it doesn't look so fantastic. You know, there's no uppercase letters, no capitals anywhere. Let's make it a bit nicer. And the way we're going to do that is by using some built-in methods of the string class that allows us to add capital letters and so forth in various places. For the name, we're going to use .title. And that just turns into title case. So the first letter of every word is going to be uppercase. For degree, we are going to use capitalize, because that turns the first letter only into uppercase. And for university, we're going to use title as well. For that turns the first letter of every word uppercase. Okay, let's run the file again. And now we can see that it looks a bit nicer. We got Rolf is 25, studying computer science at MIT. Okay, this doesn't look so fantastic, but I think this is a data problem. There's no way for us to know that the university is an acronym. So in that case, I think the data should be all uppercase if we wanted it to be like that. I think that's a small side problem. We don't have to worry too much about it. Of course, instead of applying Python code in here, I've told you before how I don't really like that. And putting Python code inside the string, it looks a bit ugly. I think that we should instead put these title and capitalize functions in the appropriate places here. That way it just makes it a bit nicer, a bit easier to read. Okay. Of course, this is allowing us to read the CSV file, extract the data from it, and then potentially print it out. We could multiply things, we could calculate new datas, we could analyze it, whatever you want to do with Python code. If you wanted to write to the file, it's exactly the same as writing any other file, except you'd be writing a big string with various things separated by commas. Like you could write Rolf 25, computer science, or rather MIT computer science. If you write that into the file, that's all you need. That is going to mimic exactly what we've got in here. So writing a CSV just means joining the constituent values you want to write with a comma. And that's pretty straightforward. And by the way, just for context, the way you do that is a sample CSV value is you do comma, dot join, and in here you put a list of values you want to join, like Rolf, 25, MIT, computer science. And this is how you would join a list of values into a CSV. And down here, see, this is what this prints out. I just wanted to give you this info just in case you want to, store some values in a CSV. Using this syntax, string.join is going to join every element of this list to each other using this character here as the joining character. If you want to use a colon instead, you can do that, of course, and then your string will just look like this. It will look like the various constituent values, but joined by colons. You can use any character you want, as long as it's not a character that's going to appear inside the data. For example, if you use the space to join it, you'd have a problem because one of your values has the space, and then, of course, you're gonna have multiple values. You're gonna have 5 values instead of 4 when push comes to shove. See. Now you've got a space here, space here, space here, and space here, even though this should be one single value. That's why you have to use a value here that won't appear in any of the strings. A comma is normally a good choice, so is a colon, so is a hash symbol. These things normally don't appear. When you are then reading the data, instead of splitting by the comma, you can just split by the hash symbol. And that's the same thing. It stops being a CSV file, now it's instead of a comma separated value file, now it's a hash separated value file. Doesn't matter, same sort of thing. Okay, that's all I wanted to say in this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.